Fill in with Bill as best I can. Want to hear your comments today. I want to hear your thoughts. Get me on the Common Sense Retirement Plan text line, which is 71307. Or if you want to talk to me, if you want to have a little chat on this lovely Labor Day, get me on the WORD phone line, which is 800 905 0989. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook. I think we're on YouTube, probably on Instagram, pretty much anywhere that you normally see people, on the live stream. You can get us on there. I'm here for the chats and the little conversations. Always love to hear your thoughts about anything that we talk about here on the show. As I said, Bill is taking a nice little break for himself. He's out enjoying. Not sure what Bill is doing today. Bill, if you're listening, just give me a quick little text. Let me know what you're up to. I would say, see, Bill gave me a call about a week ago, maybe a little bit more, and he was saying to me that he got very excited. He got extremely excited. He said, "Odie, I have to talk to you about this." I was like, "Go on, Bill, tell me all about it." And he said, "I think I found it." I said, "What'd you find, Bill?" He said, "I think I found my new favorite piece." I was like, "Ah." So I would say Bill is probably on the range today. If he's not on the range already, he will be later. I think he'll be out and putting some lead down range. I was planning on doing that myself, but stuff had come up. Stuff happened. I had factored in that I was going to be here and I was going to be on the radio today talking to you, but I had forgotten that the play that I am currently directing in the Clemson Little Theatre is on Tech Week this week. Now, if you're wondering, Odie, what is Tech Week? Tech Week is the very, very last week before the opening night. Tech Week is the hardest week. It's technology week. It's teaching week. It's where everything has to go right. It's where you make sure that all the lights are working properly. The right lights are coming. Because have you noticed when you go to a play, or has it been a while since you've gone to a play? We can talk about that in a second. But when you go to a play, all the lights on the stage. Well, somebody's controlling those. And all the little sound bites and the little bits of music that you hear when you're on the stage. Well, somebody's controlling all that as well. And that's what we have to nail down. That's what we have to get set right and ready in this week. This week. So tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Tech Week. That's what it's called, Tech Week. That's the week that everybody kind of gets a little bit nervous, making sure everything's right. And me as the director, I just, kind of running around like a footless chicken. Yes, I know it is a headless chicken, but how is a chicken supposed to run without the head? Sorry, that's my King Julian impression. But you're saying, Odie, you've told us all about Tech Week, but you haven't told us what the show is. Well, Murder on the Orient Express. It's an Agatha Christie play. Hercule Poirot. If you're looking to get tickets, get in touch with the Clemson Little Theatre. But I also want to talk to you today about Labor Day, what it is, what we do. Big thing I want to do is I want to talk. I just want to thank everybody that's working today. And I'm looking across at my producer here as well. And he's just, smiling back at me. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm working today, buddy." And I'm here. I mean, I'm live in the studio. But I also want to talk about the doctors and the nurses. And I want to talk about all the law enforcement guys, people in the army, people in the navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force. They're all working today. They may not have leave. They're all looking out for us. They're all taking care of us. There's lots of people are doing stuff today. I want to talk as well about the guys and the girls that are in the stores. I'm looking across there. There's a chicken restaurant just outside the window, and there's Chinese restaurants outside the window. And there's lots of things happening today, and there's people in them, and they're looking out for them because it's Labor Day. You may not want to cook. You may not want to do anything like that today. You may just want to go down to the lake. You may want to go. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe I'm blasting on the speakers in your car as we speak, and you're going somewhere, or you're coming back from somewhere. Some people like to travel early on Labor Day. They go away for the weekend. They like to come back early. Well, hopefully I'll keep you entertained on the way. And if you have any comments, as I said, if you want to get in touch, if you have any comments, anything, if there's anything I talk about today that you want to, voice your opinion, or you want to add to the conversation, get us on the Common Sense Retirement Plan text line 71307. Or as I said, if you actually want to have a chat with Odie, if you want to talk to the leprechaun, you can get me on the WORD phone line, which is 800 905 0989. But before we do anything, because I'm going to talk today, I'm going to chat about a lot of stuff today. I'm going to talk about Kamala and Sleepy Joe. They're going to a parade because that's what they need to do. And I also want to talk about the stigma of cosmetic surgery. Yeah, so there's two little teasers for you of what we're going to chat about today. And if you've any input on any of that, as I said, you know how to get in touch with me. But I also, on my way here today, on my way driving down I-85, I noticed that first of all, there was a lot of boats. I take the back roads a little bit before I get onto I-85, and there was a lot of boats out, a lot of boats in gas stations filling up. People had the coolers, all the coolers and all the inflatables, and they're all heading to the lake today. And a great day to do it. I was told that Labor Day is kind of the last hurrah. It's the last big day where everybody heads onto the lake because immediately after Labor Day, well, it's too cold to be on the lake. I know it's not. We do get some really nice days later in the year, but I did see, as I said, I saw a lot of boats getting ready to head to the lake, a lot of cars. I live not too far from the lake, and I I go past a few of the big landing areas. Green Pond Landing, drove past there. There was lots of people. Actually, I took a little spin down, and it was a hub of activity. There was a lot of people heading onto the lake. A really nice day, a little bit cloudy. But that's not too bad. Might keep it cool a little bit. But I also saw the South Carolina Highway Patrol guys. I'm not messing with you. I counted because I saw so many blue lights flashing on the side of the road. I counted 15 stops on my journey here today. So if you're not looking for a special Labor Day slow down ticket, then they're out in force. This is me telling you to slow down. You don't need to go that fast. They are out in force today. The cops are everywhere. They're and today, Labor Day, they could be at home. They could be with their loved ones, but they're not. They're out on the road today. So maybe they normally on a normal day, they might give you that little, 2 or 3 miles an hour leeway. But today, I'm not saying they don't want to be there because they do. That's what they do. That's their job. They're happy about it. Well, maybe today they might just be a little bit, nah, not letting you away with 3 miles an hour today. No, 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 no. So just take it easy out on the roads. Listen, we're all going to get there. We're all going to get to our destination nice and safe. And I want you to get to your destination nice and safe. It's just, yeah. I also want to tell you about my very first Labor Day here in America. I got a phone call early in the morning on Labor Day. A guy called Chris. I used to work with him. Rang me up and he said, "What are you doing today, buddy?" I said, "Not a whole lot," because we weren't going to work. And he said, "I'll meet you at the dock. We'll go out onto the lake." I was like, "All right." Brought me onto Party Island on Lake Hartwell. Now, I will tell you one thing. That opened my eyes. That really opened my eyes as to the fun that could be had out on a lake. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about drivers. We were talking about drivers already, and I'm just going to be having a little chat about what we think the top age of drivers should be. You're listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady, Odi Fitzgerald filling in. News Talk 98.9, WRD, the voice of the Carolina. Odie. Yeah, I saw this one. Odie, research Mike the Headless Chicken. Right? Miracle Mike the Headless Chicken. I know all about Miracle Mike. Well, he was on Carnival tour for about 20 years in the 20th century before his owner accidentally drowned him with an eyedropper. See, the thing with Mike is Mike the Headless Chicken. Mike the Headless Chicken was due to go into the pot. That's what he was going to be put in the pot, or he was going to be put into the oven, and he was going to make a succulent Sunday evening tea or dinner, whatever you want to call it. But when the farmer was removing Mike's head, he didn't do it correctly, and he left enough of the brainstem of Mike to be able to function. The chicken had no eyes, he only had half of a beak, he had very little of his head, but he had enough to keep functioning. And he used to feed him with the eyedropper. That was the cause of his death. Yes, I've talked about Mike before, and I've seen pictures of Mike the Headless Chicken, and he was, he was happy. He didn't know where he was. His eyes didn't work because they weren't there. Probably had no ears. But I mean, what more does a chicken want in life? Yes, I know they want to be out roaming free into the countryside and laying eggs and going making rooster noises at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's what my Odie, hey, nice to hear you on air. Thank you very much. Hey, Odie, I'm listening. Well, thank you very much for that. I love that you're all coming along with me in the on this Labor Day. That you're all tuned in, and yeah, I'd love to know where you're listening to me. Am I blasting out on Lake Hartwell? That's what I'd love to know. Odie, thanks for bringing back memories of my youth. I lived in New York, and I was listening to Malachi McCourt and his Irish accent. Yes. If you didn't know Malachi McCourt, if you've ever heard of the film Angela's Ashes, or if you've ever read the book Angela's Ashes, it was Frank McCourt. It was his book, and it was all about how he grew up in Limerick. Limerick is a city. My Both my parents are from Limerick. I spent a little bit of time living there, and all my family live in Limerick. Um, he was born in Limerick. I think it was in probably about 1935, 1940, in around there. And there was no work. They couldn't find work, so they emigrated to New York City, and they lived in New York City for quite a while. And they were poverty stricken, unfortunately, and they lost. Frank lost a couple of his siblings, I believe, and then they moved back to Ireland, and then he wrote the book. So if you haven't read Angela's Ashes, it was all about Angela McCourt. It was Frank's mom. Then it's something you should give it a watch. It's on some of the streaming channels. You can take a look at it, and you can give it a read. Not a bad book. Really, I really do advise it. Now, I was talking earlier on about the upper limit of drivers, the upper age of drivers. The reason I say that is that we have to stop working. We don't have to stop working, but we're advised to finish up working at 65. We are. Some people can keep on working well into their 80s, into their 90s, and some people, by the time they get to 65, they are done. They are finished. Their body is gone, their eyesight is gone, their hearing is gone. And I'm just curious, should there be something in place? I know if you're trying to get your license over the age of 70, you have to do a vision test, but should there be a cognitive test? No, I'm not. Before you, hey Odie, what are you talking about? Don't be getting ageist. I'm not. I'm 100% not. I can see it in some of my older relatives. Some of my older relatives, and I have begged them to stop driving because they have had accidents, they have little fender benders, they have little incidents, small little tips here and there. There was a friend of mine, his dad drove down the wrong way on the interstate because he just got a little bit confused. He got a little bit. Now, listen, I'm not saying I know some 20-year-olds that are absolutely terrible drivers. I know some 17-year-olds that are absolutely terrible drivers, and they should not be allowed on the road. I think there is some people out there that just cannot drive. They just can't. And I want to get your opinions on that. Odie, the upper age of driving should fall into vision, hearing, and mental and physical capability. It should not be governed by an age. Someone there in some 80-year-olds are very capable. Yes, they are 100%. And some 60-year-olds can't pass the four requirements. And then, so, as it says here, some teens and some 20-year-olds can't pass the requirements either. You know, they can't. No, they definitely can't. Anyway, when I come back, tell you what, when I come back, I'm going to keep talking about the upper age for driving. You're listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady, Odi Fitzgerald, looking out for the place. You're listening to News Talk 98.9, WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Something. Say something. Hello. Hello. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Hello. No, don't worry about it, Will. It's all good. Whatever. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odi Fitzgerald filling in for Bill as best I can. Now, we were talking earlier on about the upper limits of people that should be driving. Should they or should they not be driving once they get to a certain age? A lot of texters were saying that they need to pass the four requirements of vision and hearing, physical capabilities, and cognizance of it. Um, Lots of people getting in touch on the common sense retirement plan. Text line 71307. Um, I think what does this texter here says? Hey, Odie, mom and dad take great care of themselves. Mom is 88 and dad is 91, and they are both great drivers. As I say, yes, there is a lot of people out there that are still well capable of driving, well into their 80s, 90s. There is even some people in their hundreds, and they're well able to drive. Odie, there's no excuse me. Odie, there is no upper limit, but should be tested over 75 every few years of driving skills by the DMV. Yes, I agree with you, but I don't think it should be every few years. And the main reason is 2 years ago I had to get glasses. Um, just needed to get them. My eyes were starting to fail a little bit, and I got my glasses. And this year I've been noticing that I think I need to go and get my prescription changed. Now they say you should get it changed every year. So you think about it. Um, if my eyesight was worse, my eyesight isn't too bad, but if my eyesight was worse, would I have to go every year? And I probably would. And there's some people out there and their eyesight is absolutely terrible. And a very good friend of mine, she wears the thickest glasses that I've ever seen. They're like, I think they describe it as the bottoms of Coke bottles, really thick kind of glasses. And she has said that she needs to go at least every 6 or 7 months just to make sure that her eyes are okay. So maybe that is a thing that every year they should have to do a quick little checkup on it. Odie, for decades I've said that the DMV should give 75-year-olds caution lights to give us warning. That's terrible. It's funny, but it's no, it's not. I can just imagine people driving along with the big caution lights. It's like when you see the Amish people riding around in the buggies and they've got the big triangles on the back of it. Are you saying to me that you need to have 75? No, no, we're not doing that. Another texter says, Odie, just like the president, needs a cognitive test, mandatory over a certain age. Yeah, and look, here's the thing. An airline pilot is not allowed to fly over the age of 65. They're allowed to teach after the age of 65 for 5 years up until they're 70. And then they have to do tests every single year to make sure that they are well able to fly, that they can see, they have all their sight, all the vision. And sometimes when it gets to that age, they're no longer flying commercial aircraft, they're no longer flying hundreds and thousands of passengers every year. They're just flying themselves. And just for them to be safe to fly, they have to do tests once they get to 70. So maybe it is something that we need to do. Odie, I read Angela's Ashes. I was talking about Angela's Ashes there, and drove home. Um, how blessed anyone settled in the Scots Irish. And this is you're very welcome here. Angela's Ashes, yes, it is. It makes you think about the way that the world was so impoverished, like especially Ireland back in the day. It was, it was. Oh, yeah. And from what I hear, it's not. It's not doing too great lately. I'll talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about that later on. Odie, is it true that you ain't never seen nothing like a Galway girl? Well, I took a stroll on the old boardwalk on a day AIA. If you don't know what I'm referring to, look up. There is a song called, well, there's two songs. Ed Sheeran has a song called Galway Girl, and we like it. It's okay. But look up. There is a singer called Mundy, Mundy, and he has a song called Galway Girl. I like that. That's I think it was back in 1996, 97 he released that. Great song. Odie, yes, a doctor's uh, physical after a certain age should be used for driver's licenses and elected positions. So yes, they're all saying elected positions. A lot of people are saying to me that it's definitely elected positions. Another texter says, Odie, I want to go to Ireland. You know it rains. a lot. Like there's 365 days in a year, but it rains in Ireland for 360 of those days. I wish no, it doesn't rain that much, but the Irish Tourism Board are going to be ringing me up and saying, "What are you doing?" But no, there is no. Just remember, there is no bad weather. If you go to Ireland, there is no bad weather. There is just the wrong type of clothes. So if you're going to head over to Ireland, make sure you bring waterproof clothing. Odie, my insurance agent told me that they go up on people's policies and car insurance when they go over 80, and if they haven't had any wrecks or tickets. The other month, he said that you're going by the age of 65. That they're now going by the age of 65. So that means that if you are trying to get your car insurance and you're over the age of 65, that they're going to take into account your age. It's going to be something that they're going to be talking about. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't. Yeah, I think it's just something I think it's something that we need to address a little bit. It's just that if your vision is starting to fail, if your hearing is starting to fail, and yes, I know what you're going to say to me. You're going to say to me, there's a lot of people who depend on travel. Well, that is where I start to call on Joe Biden and I start to call on Kamala Harris or whatever, however you pronounce her name, because I think you have to call her Kamala now at this stage. Do better, you know, help with older people, uh, the travel infrastructure. I've yet to see a bus service. Now, there could be one, please. If I'm wrong, is there a bus service that goes from the likes of Anderson to Greenville? Is there a bus service that will bring people to certain places? Is there events that people might want to go to? And is there bus services that will bring them to once they get over a certain age? And that's something that needs to be addressed. If you can't drive, are the government going to look after you for driving? Are the government going to help you a little bit? I think they need to. I think they need to step up. If you have someone that can pick you up from your house and bring you somewhere, being paid by the government, you know, it might be something to look at. Anyway, when I come back, I am going to get on to the cosmetic surgery. I want to talk about that because it's becoming the norm. Anyway, you're listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady here on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odi Fitzgerald filling in for Bill as best I can. I'm going to wrap it up on this, talking about the upper age limit for drivers in South Carolina. Well, I suppose across the entire, across all the states. Last text here, Odie, my agent even said that sorry. Yeah, my agent said that if you don't have any tickets or haven't had any wrecks, that it will still go up. They tripled my mother's insurance when she was 85, and she has never even had a ticket. See, there's the thing, and that's what I was saying to you. I think the government needs to step in. Let me know your thoughts. You can get me on the Common Sense Retirement Plan text line 71307, or on the double. If you want to call into the show, the phone lines are definitely open. You can get me on the WORD phone line. It's 800 905 0989. Now, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgeries. That's what I want to talk about. Oh, yeah. Oh, I went there. What's your thoughts on it? Now, there has been a lot of, there's a lot of money spent every single year on cosmetic surgeries. Now, do you think that you would ever get it done? Have you ever got it done? I wanna I wanna hear your opinion. I want you to let me know your thoughts on cosmetic surgery. Any cosmetic surgery. If you need something made bigger, something made smaller, if you need hair put back into places, hair removed from places, and I'm looking over at Will there, and he's hiding in shame, but I'm getting there as well. I mean, it's costing me more money every year to wash my face because the old hairline is. I'm 43. I've kept my hair for quite some time. I have kept my hair. If you want to look in on the if you want to look in on the New Stock Facebook page, you can see me in bright color there, and you'll see that the hairline's starting to go back a little bit. But you know, I think I will just when it goes, I will just let it go and just remove it, shave my head. I've shaved my head before, and I don't look too bad. I've been told I look a little bit angry with a shaved head, but I'm Irish, so it goes with that. Well, in 2023, Americans spent 11.8 billion. That's what a B dollars on procedures. Okay. That was including surgical and non-surgical. So I suppose the non-surgical is if you're getting, cosmetic peels, or if you're getting some sort of a face thing, or you could be going. Yeah, it could be getting a dental surgeries. I mean, they're cosmetic as well. You might have issues. It could be for the orthodontist. You could be doing that. But would you get it done? That's what I want to know. The procedures, they can vary from. You might be getting a tummy tuck. You might have some excess fat that you can't get rid of. You might be getting that, but it's becoming the norm. It's becoming something that it's acceptable. I remember years ago, if the likes of Dolly Parton. Oh, we all know Dolly Parton has been enhanced. She has had a lot of different surgeries, and she looks different now than she did when she was younger, and the fact that she's come out and she said she's had facelifts, and she's trying to stop the aging process, which we can't do. We can never stop the aging process, not even slightly. And she's proud of it. And she came out and she said, "Yes, I've had my boobs done. I've done all that kind of stuff. I've had tummy tucks. She's had uh, fat moved from one place, put somewhere else." I just think, is it a kind of thing that it is acceptable? I mean, you see all over Instagram. If you're looking on Instagram, you will see girls and guys with absolutely fantastic bodies. And some of them have no problem whatsoever saying, yes, I had this done, I had that done, I had a nose job done, I've had lots of different procedures done. You know, Possibly. Texter texts in, Odie, plastic surgery only covers up the ugly on the outside. Oh, if you're ugly on the inside, there is no amount of plastic surgery that'll fix that. That is soul deep. Yes, it is. Yes, 100%. If you are a horrible person on the inside, There's nothing we can do for you. Now, there is stuff you can do for yourself, and I talked about it on my show last night. You know, eh. Another texter text in. Odi, breast augmentations, reductions are acceptable. Yes, they are. 100%. Now, I don't want to go down the dark rabbit hole with it. No, we will. We will. Um, if a lady has large breasts and they're hurting her back, they're hurting her way of life, they're causing pain, then by all means, if she gets a reduction, it's going to improve her way of life 100%. And I know this from knowing people that have had it done. Um, sorry, just a funny text me. I know this from people that have had it done. I know a couple of girls in particular. There's a very good friend of mine, and she had a breast reduction surgery done when she was in her late 20s, and she always had headaches. She always had tension headaches. She never looked happy. She always looked down and depressed. As soon as she got the surgery done, her headaches went away. She felt lighter in herself. Obviously enough, she felt happy in herself. So yes, reductions 100% acceptable. If a lady has gone through breast cancer, I know a couple of people personally that have gone through breast cancer, and they have had breast implants put in because they say it helps them. It makes them feel. I don't want to say the word. I don't want to say it, but it makes them feel normal again. And yes, there is ladies that have had breast cancer and have had their breast removed and haven't had any surgery done. And that's strength. That is 100% strength. But they're saying probably 50% of the costs of all surgeries and augmentations have been done by the Kardashians. You're listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odi Fitzgerald here, filling in, doing as best I can. Before the news, we were talking about cosmetic surgeries and would you get them done? A lot of reaction on the text line to that. Just before I went out, we're saying that probably 50% of the cost, that's 11.8 billion, spent on the Kardashians because they get an awful lot done. Odie sitting here in Walmart getting an oil change. I am 62, normal, good shaped body, lots of wrinkles, bags around the eyes. Not pretty, but I'll stay natural. It is what it is. Worked outside in the sun for many years and didn't take care of my skin, so it is what you get. Excuse me. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. I'm 43. Hair is starting to recede. As I said, it's starting to cost me a little bit more money to wash my face every year. And I've got scars. I've got scars on my head. I've got scars on my body. Be lots of motorcycle accidents and lots of accidents when I was a stunt performer. And I'm not going to fix them. It's there is one thing that I do need to fix, and actually, yes. Now I'm going to blame America for this one, and you're going to understand why. There's something I want to fix about my body. When I moved to America 7 years ago, I came in at a lean because I'm 6 foot tall, and I came in at a lean 185 pounds. Because of the amazingly good food over here in America, I am now tipping the scales at 235 pounds. Yes, America's been good to me. The food is very good. The portions are so big as well. Portions are ridiculously big over here, and you just yeah, I don't know. What else have we got? Angelina Jolie. Well, she had a double mastectomy. Yes, she did because she was a risk for cancer. And April Winters had breast reduction. If that's what people need to do, that's what. If you feel the need to get something like that done, then get it done. I'm not going to stop you. And I don't think the general public are going to stop you anymore. I think it's acceptable. You see someone walking down, oh, they had a tummy tuck, or that guy had a bum lift. If you need to get a bum lift, if that's what you're into. Texter said that he went to his doctor. He wanted to get something extended, but the urologist said not to do it. Too risky. We're not going to go with that one. Odie, women pass on the genes that make baldness. Yes, they do. If your mom's dad was bald, then chances are you're going to be bald. But apparently, it came from the caveman stuff. If a caveman had it was bald, it meant that he had lived long enough to go bald because the age of life expectancy in caveman times wasn't fantastic. No, it wasn't great. I think if you got to the 40s, you were an old timer. And if they went bald, it meant that they were a good provider because they were able to look out for people. But yeah, that's something for the genetics. Would you get a hair transplant? Would you get that done? Would people do it? It's very expensive. I think it's I don't want to say it costs, but I think it's about $8 or $9,000. There was a stage, yes, there was a stage where I looked at my hair and I was like, I wish I had long hair at one stage. I had very long hair. I had hair down my back, and I have a nice tight haircut now. But there was a stage when I first started losing my hair about a year ago, maybe about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I said it to my wife, and she looked at me and she was like, "I love you no matter what." I was like, "Yeah, but if I go bald, will you let me shave my head?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't know. Will you do a comb over?" I said, "No, I won't do a comb over." I couldn't imagine doing a comb over. It would look terrible on me. No, Will could do it. Will has the long hair if he needed to do a comb over, but no. Now, what I want to talk about is I want to talk a little bit about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Just have a little bit of a conversation about them. So today, as you know, is Labor Day. We're talking earlier on the show about what people are doing, and we'll talk about it later on today about what you're doing, where you're going, and how you're spending your Labor Day. Well, Joe and Kamala or Kamala or however you pronounce it. I think she changes it every now and again. I think she changes it as much as she changes everything else. They are co-headlining a campaign today in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. Kamala wants to get more votes. She wants to. She wants to get Joe's loyalty. Now, apparently, he's loyal. In all fairness, does he really know what's happening? But I just think it's funny that they go to the nice events, they go to the fun events, they go to the little friendly events that everybody is going to be smiling and waving and shaking their hands and just being nice to them. But yet, they cannot go to the Arlington Cemetery to lay a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier for the 13 soldiers that lost their lives 3 years ago in Afghanistan. Isn't it amazing how they can pick and choose where they go and what they do? They're going to go to the nice events so that people will remember them because they're going to wave a flag and they're going to shake hands with people and get ice creams and they're going to have a fun and exciting day. Except when it comes to it, they won't go to what they're supposed to go to. Donald Trump didn't. Donald Trump said, "No, I'm going to go." If the president and the vice president can't be bothered to go to Arlington Cemetery, then I'm going to go. Just remember that, folks, in November. Said it once and I'll say it again. Because I'm not a citizen yet, I can't vote unless I go to Texas when you can just apparently do it anyway. Not going to talk about that. But just, you know, yeah. Anyway, getting back onto the cosmetic surgery because apparently there's a lot of people want to talk about the cosmetic surgery. Um, someone says, "I love you no matter what." As my wife said to me when I was losing when I was losing my hair. Now, how about $1 billion worth of hair transplants? I'm not that bald. I'm seriously not that bald. Uh, so we have another texter. I was saying that evolution was causing people to lose their hair and prove that they're a good provider and what have you. Well, none of that caveman stuff is true. Evolution is false, and so all those conclusions about cavemen are false. A good friend of mine, Darwin, would disagree with you on that one. I'm not gonna get deep into that. You can see people are evolving already. I mean, you really can. And one of the big ones, one of the biggest things that people evolve is that when humans started to roam the earth, we all started in Africa, all of us, every single one of us, and then people moved north and people moved south and they went to the east and the west and they populated the entire planet. And when they got up into the north, they realized that they didn't need the dark pigment in their skins. So they started to get lighter, blonde hair, blue eyes. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong with evolution. Maybe that's not the way it is. I don't know. Anyway, you're listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. When I come back, I'm going to be listening to more of your opinions. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odi Fitzgerald sitting in for Bill. Bill will be back tomorrow after his Labor Day break. Probably, I would say, if he's not already there, I would say Bill is hitting the range at some stage. And you know what, Bill? I think I might follow suit. We've had a little bit of problem with coyotes lately. Small little bit of a problem. I think I might have to go and check that out a little bit. Um, oh yes. So previously we were talking about evolution and creation, and a texter said to me that all of the caveman stuff was false and all the conclusions were false. They came back to me and they said Audi, because apparently I'm a car. Well, no, it's Audi, but you tried. The London Academy of Science has determined that the natural selection does not work. That is the premise of Darwin's evolution. Yes, it is 100%. I think if you studied it, you might come to a different conclusion. And if you were wrong, would you really want to know? If I am wrong, if I'm wrong with anything, I'm extremely open-minded. I really am. And I've studied quite a bit. I have been in school for longer than I care to to mention. And I have lots of letters after my name, which is fun. If I am wrong, I will 100% hold my hands up. If in 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, whenever I decide to shuffle off this mortal coil, and if all of a sudden I find myself in front of some pearly gates, then I'd be like, oh, okay, I was wrong. Um, Little bit of backstory on that. I grew up in Ireland under the Catholic Church, and I'm not going to say much more than that, but they know what they did in Ireland specifically. I was born in a mother and baby home in 1981. The same year I was born, the infant mortality rate in the baby home that I was born, 1981, folks, not that long ago, was 43%. Anyway, not going to get into debate over the Catholic Church. I'm not, but I'm just going to say that's where my opinions lie in it. They've made their bed, now they can sleep in it. Um, yes, if I was to read up on the London Academy Sciences, uh, uh, their thesis or whatever, and they're saying that natural selection doesn't work, I would take a read. I would study it, no problem at all. I'll take a read of it, and I will make my own conclusions from what I read. I do think that natural selection happens, and as a hunter, I have been out hunting. Now, as I said, I'm going to go look for some coyotes later on tonight. As a hunter, I have been in a tree stand. I have been on the ground. I have been watching animals, watching deer. I will go out early in the season, before the season even starts, with no rifle, no bow, nothing. And I will watch the animals. I love doing it. I absolutely love doing it. Yes, I'm a hunter, but I respect nature and I love watching the animals. I will go out and I will watch animals hunting each other. I'll watch coyotes hunting fawn. Sometimes the fawn gets away. If a fawn has a deficiency, or if there's something wrong with it, natural selection means it's going to be eaten. I've seen deer with chronic wasting disease and they get eaten. So I believe myself that natural selection definitely does work. Another texter texted in and said the advantages of women who pass male baldness disease still fits no matter what you believe, whether it's in evolution or in the Garden of Eden. We are a dangerous species. Yes, we are. Humans are a dangerous species. You can see that anywhere. You can see that in all forms of life, in all walks of life. Yeah, no, we sometimes, sometimes we are a fantastic species. Sometimes when we help each other out, we are an absolutely fantastic species. Yes, we are. You cannot take that away from us. But I think the way the world is going, and myself and my producer Will were talking about that during the ad break, is that everything is now single serve. Everything is now fast. Everything as I want it yesterday. I don't want it tomorrow. Movies are no longer 3 hours long, 2 hours long. It's because everybody's looking at TikTok. They're looking at 30 seconds of something that's funny. They're getting a giggle, they're laughing, and then they're scrolling on to the next video. I've seen it happen. I've done it. I have they call it death scrolling, where you just keep scrolling through, you're watching TikTok or you're looking at reels on Facebook or Instagram. We all do it. Sometimes I need to just say to myself, Odie, put the phone down. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you could be in a certain room in the house contemplating life and you're just scrolling through the phone. You're there for quite a long time. Another texter says I was talking earlier on about the fact that I got a little bit rotund since I came to America with the good food. Odie, overeating leads to obesity. It's not your fault. It's called a spoon and a fork. You need to, the cure for that is chopsticks. I can use chopsticks, and I eat quite a bit when I use chopsticks as well. That comes in from Al in Union. Odie, I think you'd love the church I go to. There's a few people that grew up in the Catholic Church in my small group, and they all state that the biblical teachings we have are great. Look up the church at the mill. Listen, and here's the thing: I'm open to I'm open to anything. If someone invites me to go somewhere, I will go. I actually really want. I haven't gone to a church um, since I've been here in the 7 years I've been to South Carolina. I haven't gone to any churches. Um, my wife is Baptist. She was Baptist. She's not really practicing all that much, and we haven't. We just haven't gone to a church. I did go to mass. Um, there was a friend of mine who passed away about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and one of the last things that she wanted to do was go to mass. She was a devout Catholic, and her husband and her mother-in-law asked me would I bring them, brought them to Catholic mass, and it reminded me how boring Catholic mass was. But people are just going through the motions. That's what it reminds me of. I like the idea of Baptist churches, because I believe there's music played and there's songs sang, and it's it's an event. And it's not some guy standing up in a pulpit just shouting at you, telling you what you've done wrong and why you're going to. Yeah, but yeah, I am open to it. I am open to going to churches. No problem at all. Maybe there's actually a very good friend of mine. I fish with him. He is a very religious man, and we have had many talks about religion. We have had debates about it. Um, As a former Catholic, I did have to read the Bible quite a bit, and yes, the Bible in Ireland is actually different from the Bible that we have over here. I've read through a few paragraphs of the Bible, and there is differences. There is definitely differences. But yes, no, I will talk about it with anybody. I will have an open discussion about it. And yeah, you said church to mill. I'll look it up. I will definitely look it up, and I'll have a little look. Got a text in a while ago. It says, Odie, do you prefer a 40 cal or a 10 millimeter? Well, I've never shot either. I have never shot either of those guns. My When I go to the range, if I'm doing shooting a competition, I have a 9 millimeter. That's what I use for that. And if I'm shooting a fun steel match, it'll be a 22, because lots of lead down range doesn't cost a lot of money and it's still fun. You're still hitting the targets. When I go hunting, someone asks what caliber I use to hunt. I use 30-06 for deer. And if I'm going anything smaller, I'd obviously use a smaller caliber. My wife uses 243 for the deer. And whenever my boy starts to hunt, he's only four. He's only four and a half. Uh, we're going to get him. Actually, we were here. Yeah, here's something I want to talk about in the next segment. When do you think you should bring your kids hunting? What age? What age do you think? What age do you think? When we come back, I want to know what age you think is old enough for your kids to go hunting. I'm on about dove hunting, and maybe not the deer, not yet. Get us on the Common Sense Retirement Plan text line 71307, or you can call in. I'd love to chat to you about that. Phone number is the WRD phone line, which is 800 905 0989. You're listening Straight Talk with Bill Frady here on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. That song has just put me in the mood to dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now on the I was talking earlier on about the correct age to bring kids hunting. Joining us on the line on the WRD phone line is Rob. What do you think, Rob? What is the right age to bring your kid hunting? Is he there? No, he's there. Rob, are you there, buddy?
Yes, yes,
Hey,
Odi. Thank you for taking my call.
no
I
problem, man.
just remember back when my neighbor's dad and my dad would get together and go hunting in upstate New York. They would go deer hunting. We had twos. We were only allowed me and me too, but they would carry larger caliber guns, you know.
Yeah.
And we started at 7, 8 years old. They were teaching us, you know, the safety aspects of it and all, and, you know, wearing a bright orange vest and hat, you know, so you could be seen in the woods.
Well, I think
And
that's it. I think that's the biggest part of it is to get once you get the safety aspect of it drilled into a kid. Once a kid is old enough, I think, to get the safety aspect of it, then I think the rest can follow. And I mean, all right, yeah, there's going to be around loud noises, and they have to see um, a dead animal, and maybe some kids are
right.
able for that. But so, what age? 'Cause I think we lost you there a little bit. What age did you say that you were doing that as a
Oh,
kid?
it's 7 or 8,
Oh,
you know.
7 or 8. Yeah. Yeah, no, I really
Yeah.
listen, Rob. I appreciate your call. Thanks for calling in. But yeah, no, I think about 7 or 8. As I said, like we were thinking about bringing our boy dove hunting this year, and the dove season kicks off. It's kicking off very soon, and we were thinking about it. And his granddad and his two uncles and myself and his mama are gonna and Nana were going to go and we were going to bring him for a little bit of a hunt. Of course, one of us wouldn't be shooting, so just that he's beside us and we're taking care of him and making sure that he's not going to get afraid. Because I mean, a loud noise to a 4-year-old kid, that's you don't want to scare them off it forever. Like, yes, and we've all been out hunting, we've all been shooting. Well, most of us have, and a 12 gauge, it's loud. It is loud. Yeah, it's not too bad, but it could scare someone. On the text line, for a child to observe a hunt as soon as they can sit quietly and obey instructions. And I think they need to know where the meat comes from. And that's not a bad thing. Maybe 13 to hunt larger game. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Because as well as that, you have to remember that the larger caliber bullets from a rifle, they have a bit of a kick. They do have a bit of a kick. So maybe the younger kids, they might not be able to hunt. They may not be able to hold a gun. They may not be able to, take the recoil out of a gun. Yes, I know there is the 410 shotguns. There's very little recoil out of them, and a lot of kids, a lot of my friends over here, you know, they've used 410 shotguns. Been their first gun. They've gone hunting rabbits with them. They've gone hunting dove with them, and it breaks them into it. But I think the texter there hit the nail on the head. I think they need to know where meat comes from. I think that's a big thing because a lot of kids, they grow up thinking that meat comes from the supermarket. They don't realize that meat comes from an animal, comes from a deer, comes from a cow, comes from a chicken. There's lots of kids out there who don't realize that the chicken running around their farm could be the chicky nuggies. You know, it definitely could be the chicky nuggies. And like if I'm cooking, if I'm doing a roast or if I'm grilling something on the weekend, and chances are, if you look into a field, you might see a cow that's going to be your dinner in a cup. And kids need to know that. I think some of the kids out there some of them are just being raised a little bit soft. Now, I did not come from a hunting family. My dad didn't. He didn't bring us hunting, didn't bring us shooting. He wasn't big into that, and it was my uncles. My uncles brought me out hunting and shooting, and that's where I learned everything from them was from the hunting. And um, s- uh, different people, different friends of mine could have been doing that, you know. And that's where that all came from, and that's where and I just wanted to know where you think is the right age for kids to learn and for kids to know. And yes, I know here in South Carolina they have to do the training courses before they're allowed to get their hunting licenses, and that's great. That's fantastic. Because unfortunately, there is some people out there, and I've heard of some terrible accidents where people are going out hunting and they're just shooting at a noise in a bush. One of the first things that you learn is not only to know your target, but know what's behind your target. And that's a big thing. You have to know what's behind you because you're not always I don't care how fantastic of a marksman you think you are. I really don't. You're not going to hit your target every single time. There could be something behind you. So that's just gun safety, hunting safety. It's getting to that time. Actually, here now, yes, this has just reminded me. I was hunting in a wildlife management area up near Clemson. It's bows only. You can only hunt with a bow. I was in there. I had my orange vest on. I was visible. I was able to hunker down into the undergrowth, and I saw a few deer coming out. There was no deer that I wanted to take. And there was one stage where there was a deer standing, about 40 yards, 50 yards in front of me. And I was watching him because, as I said, I like to watch the animals for a while. I want to see what they're doing. I like to study them. And next thing, the deer bolted. He let that blow, and then he bolted, disappeared, gone. I was like, he didn't see me, and I'm downwind from him. He didn't he didn't know I was there. And next thing, here come these two walkers with their dog. And yes, I know it's a wildlife management area. They can be there. But the both of them were wearing black. They were wearing black tracksuit bottoms or leggings and black shirts, and they were just strolling through the forest. And their dog was just off a leash. The dog should have been on the lead, and he wasn't. And they were just strolling through the forest. And it just made me think, there could be a trigger happy or a bow happy young hunter or experienced hunter. They mightn't see that person standing behind the deer that they're about to shoot. An arrow goes through a deer. Sometimes. If it goes through a deer, it's going to keep moving. If you're standing behind that deer at a bit of a distance, chances are the arrow could hit you. So if you're going walking in areas where there is hunting, where there is hunters, please, please, even if you're not hunting, throw some orange on you. Just, yeah. Texter says, is it difficult to hunt in Ireland with the gun laws? Yes, it is. Extremely difficult to hunt in Ireland. And I talked about it before, and I will talk about it again. And Jim and Aisley said to me, Odie, you weren't going to give your opinion about Catholicism, but you did just that. No, Jim, I didn't. I barely touched the surface on that one. You're listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady here on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady, Odi Fitzgerald, filling in until Bill returns tomorrow after a well needed break. Before the break, I was talking about the appropriate age to bring people hunting and fishing and shooting. On the stream, Trey says, my dad passed away when I was 8. He took me fishing a lot, but we never went hunting. It's something I wish that we did get to do. Well, that's fair enough. I understand that. But at least you have the memories. You've got the memories of going fishing with your dad, and you know they're pretty good. On the text, common sense retirement plan text line 71307. Odie, I've been hunting for many years. My youngest son is 25, and as a boy, he was very anxious to go hunting, but he has a bit of a Scottish temper. I didn't take him hunting until he was 14, and I wanted him to be a little bit more mature than when he was 10 or 12. We attended hunter's safety class together, even though I didn't have to take it. My granddaughter started hunting when she was 10, and she's harvested a deer every year since and not yet missed. After her first kill, I asked if she was upset about taking the deer's life, and she replied that if God didn't want her to take the deer, he wouldn't have let it walk out in front of her. That's a smart girl. I like the way as well that you brought the granddaughter hunting at 10 and you waited until 14 for the boys. See, there it is in a nutshell. Us boy, we're not even slightly mature. No, no, no. I am 43 years of age and I still do things. I still, on a daily, yeah, I will admit it right here. And if my wife happens to be listening, Lauren, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. On the daily, I do something that makes my wife shake her head as if to say, "What? Like, what's wrong with you?" So, Lauren, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for a lot of things. Oh, no, I am. I am. Now, there is a story. I was reading about it today. It's a pretty bad one now. A 62-year-old man. This happened in where did it happen? I think it happened. I think it was in Florida. I'm not 100% sure. But there was a 62-year-old man was left in a critical condition after his attempt to pet his pet. He has a pet. When I tell you what his pet is, you're just going to be like, seriously? His pet is a fully grown male chimpanzee, and he was attacked by him. He was left. I think his face is badly damaged. His face is badly, he's disfigured. I think he's missing one or two fingers. He's missing bits of his arm. And I want to know what makes people want to get exotic pets? Like, I don't get it. Now, to add insult to injury, this chimpanzee had previously, 15 years beforehand, had removed the man's wife's hand. And the court had ordered that the chimp needs to be taken from the people because she lost her hand. First of all, have you seen chimpanzees? They're about the same size physically in height. They're about 5'5", 5'6". They're tall. But they say that they have the strength of about 6 men, 5 or 6 men, that they are ridiculously strong. And yes, they have massive teeth. And no, they're just I just I don't get it. It's the same with tigers. Yeah. It's people. Yeah, I know. Look it. We all watched the Tiger King. Tiger King was on Netflix 2 years ago, and now the Tiger King is away off doing time for the silly things. Have you watched the Tiger King? Seriously, if you haven't yet watched the Tiger King, and you want, I'm not even going to call it entertain. Well, I suppose it is. It'll make you giggle. Back in Ireland, we would call that chewing gum for the eyes. It is of no benefit whatsoever. You're just watching it and you're just your brain. You could call it hangover TV, where you don't have to think about it. You just lie on the couch. You might have had, maybe last night you had a couple of, maybe two, three too many adult beverages, and you're a little bit the worst for wear this morning. or today, and you're just kind of like, oh, I don't want to think. I just want to watch TV. That's what you need to do. You need to watch. Oh, you need to watch Tiger King. But why do people feel the need to get big, massive, exotic animals as pets? You've got people have crocodiles. There's people out there and they've got massive fish tanks and they've got sharks in their fish tanks. The other one that I don't get as well is snakes. Snakes are not cuddly. They're not friendly. If you have any exotic animals, just I want to hear from you. Common Sense Retirement Plan text line 71307, or you can get me on the WORD phone line, which is 800 905 0989. If you have anything that you want to talk to me about with the exotic animals, tigers and lions and bears and iguanas and oh my, yeah, hit me up on them. I want to hear about your exotic animals, your exotic pets, and why in the name of all that is sane do you have one? You're listening to Straight Talk with Bill Frady, News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Hi, very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odi Fitzgerald filling in for Bill. Bill will be back tomorrow. Don't worry. The Irishman hasn't taken over. Said earlier on, Bill is probably on the range. If he's not on the range, he's probably going to head to the range at some stage today. Or maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Still waiting for him to give me a call, let me know what's happening. He could be. Now, earlier on in the show, I was talking about the right age to bring somebody hunting with you, one of your kids, one of your siblings, or a family member or friend. And joining me on the WRD talk line is Mike. Mike, what is your opinion on the right age to bring kids hunting?
I think, and this is what I did with my son. I started him out in first grade, just bird hunting, dove, duck, turkey, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We moved on to deer and other things as he went with me when he was that age. He killed his first doe with a rifle when he was about 9 or 10. And he killed his first doe with a bow when he was about 12.
So what was his opinion? What was his opinion? So you said you brought him bird hunting first. When he first shot a bird, what did he think?
That didn't bother him because he had been with me, when we were successful, and it was just something. And we ate what we killed.
Yeah.
So he knew all about that.
Okay. And what about then the bigger game with the deer? What was his thoughts when he first shot a deer?
It was not a problem. I mean, I was with him. We processed the deer. We ate the deer. He knew it was good. He grew up in that idea. So I don't think it was ever a problem with him.
That's good. Yeah.
He also later in life, after he graduated from Riverside High School there in Greer, he joined the armed forces. He became a sniper in the 3rd Infantry Division, did 2 tours in Iraq. And I read somewhere that said that 90% of the armed forces snipers started out hunting at a young age.
Yes.
And that was definitely true with him.
Yes. Well, Mike, listen, thank you very much for calling in to us, and tell your son thanks for his service, and we really appreciate everything he does for us. Thanks for calling in. And so as Mike was saying, start them young, get them out hunting, get them out dove hunting, get them out for if there's pheasants nearby. I used to love hunting pheasant back in Ireland. Really tasty bird, really nice bird. But yeah, no, so that's the thing. And I think it's the thing of acclimatizing your kids to a dead animal, to the fact that you're going to take the life of an animal, but you're not going to just take it. You're not going to just shoot the animal and leave it to rot at the side of the road. You're going to process it. You're going to, if it's a dove, you're going to do it there and then in the field. You're going to take the good meat out of it, and you're going to eat it, depending on how you want to. If it's a deer, well, if you're so inclined, I don't do it. I don't process my own animals. I bring them to a processing guy. I will sometimes I'll field dress it if if the mood takes me. If it's late in the evening and I don't have time to field dress it, well, for an extra $10, my process guy is going to do it for me. And I think that's the thing as well. I think it's getting the kids, helping the kids learn early is the right way to do it. Texter to the Common Sense Retirement Plan text line text in and said, Odie, I shot my first deer when I was 10 with a Win Mag. My uncle and grandfather made me drag it up a hill 100 yards. If you have ever shot a deer and you've had to drag it in any way, shape, or form, that takes it out of you. But having to go uphill 100 yards is a big one. When they got to the top of the hill, they laughed and they drank they drank a beer. They hung it up and got it for me. They then had me take a small bite of the still warm heart. Oh, fair enough. I have never done that and don't plan on doing it. They painted my face with the blood. That's called being blooded. It's your first one. And they gave me a beer and said, "You're a man now." We do not here on Newstalk 98.9 condone underage drinking at all. No, we don't. But it's an Irish thing, and we did it as well. Your dad will let you have a little sip of a pint of Guinness when you were a kid. So from a very young age, a lot of people have been out. A lot of people have been hunting. Texter also goes on to say, it's funny, I also raised snakes in college. He had boas, pythons, bull snakes, corn snakes. Used to take them with me to the mall and they would just look over my head at other people. Come on. That's a that's a snake. Now I will say I was in Ingalls, just outside Anderson, last year, and there was a guy walking around and he had a lizard, a bearded dragon on his shoulder. Texter text in and he said, Odie, does my wife count? Is she exotic? She also has a temper and a Republican. And her strength is unmatched to a chimp. Al in Union, South Carolina. Al, if she listens to that, seriously, buddy, you're going to feel the wrath of an angry woman. No, no, no. Your wife doesn't count as an exotic animal. But talking about exotic animals, like I just don't get it. I mean, why would like snakes? Okay, snakes and lizards and tarantulas. I'm not a big fan of spiders. I'm not, but at the same time, if someone has a spider, if they want a spider, okay, yeah. But what I don't understand now, I don't get this. Boa constrictors are big snakes. They are massive. In the wild, they grow so big, and anacondas, they grow so big that they can catch, kill, and eat a wild hog. They can do that. Just remember, a hog is bigger than you. Okay. So, if for argument's sake, now I know we all know the urban legend of a snake got out and he crawled into its owner's bed and lay down beside it in the bed. And the vet said, oh, don't ever let that happen again because the snake was measuring itself to see if it was big enough to eat you. Yes, we've all heard that urban legend. Everybody said it has happened. But first of all, that snake can do serious damage to you. It could, if it want, eat you or one of your children. But then you have people who decide that they don't just want any normal snake in their house. They want to have a venomous snake in their house. Yes, I said venomous, not poisonous. Venomous snake in their house. That if it was to bite you, you would die. Not even, get badly hurt or have to go to the hospital and get anti-venom. You would just be stone cold lying on the ground dead because you thought it was the best thing in the world to have a rattlesnake in your house. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of people with crazy pets. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just out there. It's gone. It's crazy. And you're very welcome back to the strangest music.
This is yes, dude.
Yeah, I know. Will has taken he's taken leave of his senses today. You know, it's his holiday too. He's just playing whatever feels good, and I appreciate it. I really do. You know, it's opening my it. No, it's remembering some of the music I used to listen to. Now, earlier on the show, I was talking about exotic pets and would you have them? And a very good friend of mine, Heidi Harris, who you can check out at 3 o'clock. She's going to be filling in for Charlie James, 3 o'clock until 7 o'clock here on News Talk 98.9. She was telling me that she used to have a 10 foot, is it a python or boa constrictor? Let me just check my text. Let me just check them. A python. She used to have a 10-foot python as a pet. And then I told her, no, that's a big negative on the Ghost Rider. And she called me a wuss, which I don't mind. I will take it. On the text line, the Common Sense Retirement Plan text line, someone says, a tabby cat is enough of an exotic pet for me. Also got another text that said, Odi, good afternoon, and it's been a pleasure listening to you today. It's nice to change it up. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, Bill is out having he's having a nice day for himself, and I decided to jump into the hot seat. Well, I won't say I decided. I was asked what I do, and I said, yeah, no problem. And if you like what you hear, you know, you know, you might like the Irish accent. Well, every Sunday night from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock, you can check out my show, which is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. You can check that out. Similar to this, we have a bit of fun, talk about something that you may never have known before. Um, Odie text another text came in. Odie saw a guy with is it a beret in Alaska, and before he spoke, he sounded like you. Not too sure what that one is. Hmm, maybe there's somebody that looks like me in Alaska, sound like me as well. I don't know. Another texter says, Odie, I used to have a prairie dog. Very cute till they very cute until they bite you. Yes, I can imagine. I had a very good friend back in Ireland, and he used to keep ferrets. Ferrets are a big deal. You can hunt with ferrets in Ireland. They're used for hunting. You can hunt rabbits with them. They can actually be trained up, and they use kitty litter boxes. Yes, they do. They actually make really good pets. And he was missing three of his fingers because when he was a young kid, they removed them. The ferrets decided that finger looks mighty tasty. Think I'll have it. I think I'll have it. Now, as you know, it is Labor Day weekend. Today is Labor Day, and that's why Odie's on the radio and Bill's out having a well earned break. But are you going to go to the lake today? Were you on the lake yesterday? Did you possibly go on Saturday? My plan was to go to the lake today, but I've got other stuff that I need to do when I get home. So maybe I might go tomorrow. Don't know. Um, a text just came in. It said, Odie, producer Will used to have an exotic animal for a mustache. It was epic. That's obviously somebody that knows Will. He used to have an exotic mustache animal. Anyway, but yes, no. As I was saying, I was going to go to the lake today, but I'll be rehearsing in the theater later on, so I can't. But if you're heading out on the lake, just remember you can get done. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources are on the lake today. They're on all of the lakes. You can't miss them. They've got really big boats, the center console boats with the blue flashy lights on top of them. They will come and get you if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing correctly, i.e., if you've had a little bit too much of the alcoholic adult beverages and you're driving a little bit erratically, or you're having too much fun. Not too much fun, because fun is we want people to have fun here, but just if you're on the lake and you're knocking back a few cold ones, maybe if you've got a kid that's old enough, I think it's over 18, or if you have wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, dad, mom, and they're not having a few drinks today on the lake, let them drive your boat. And the other thing I will say to you, I will say this to you, this is a big one. is Lake Hartwell is now, I think, 5 feet below full pool. Now, what does that mean? Well, as you know, Lake Hartwell is a man made reservoir. And I say it's reservoir because it reserves the water that it used to drive the hydroelectric dam that's at the bottom of Lake Hartwell. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, they've decided to let the water level drop substantially. As I said, it's 5 feet. It's probably a lot to do with the fact that we haven't had much rain in the upstate in the last couple of weeks, probably over a month. My grass is all dead. Yes, I know it rained last night and we had a little bit of fun with that. So if you're on Lake Hartwell and you know where there's low spots, where you know where there is shallow spots, just remember they are a lot shallower. I nearly got caught out last week. I was on the lake last week. I went to a bit of fishing. I nearly got caught out. The lake is shallow. Just be careful. You drive across somewhere that you know is normally 10 feet. Well, remember now it's only 5 foot. Or if you drive across somewhere fast and you know it's 8 or 9 foot, it's a lot shallower. Propellers are not cheap, not even slightly cheap. And your boat is not cheap. You've spent a lot of money on your boat. Keep it nice and safe. So just remember the lake is a lot shallower. I'm not too sure about the rest of the lakes. I think Kiwi is something similar to that as well, but lakes are shallower. So behave yourselves and be careful. And as I said, I've been talking to the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. I'm going to have one of the guys in on my show in a couple of weeks, and they have said they have the same laws and the same regulations on the lake as you have on the roads. Dangerous driving, drink driving, all that. You can be done for it, and you don't want to get a ticket. You do not want to have a ticket on Labor Day for doing something in a boat that you shouldn't have been doing. So go out, have fun, have some good food, go to Party Island if you're going to Party Island. Make memories with your family, make memories with your kids and friends. Put on them life jackets. Yes, look it. I bass fish. I have a bass boat. Myself and my buddy, when we're going across the lake fast, we put our life jackets on us just in case. You never know. Um, just stay safe out there. That's all I want you to do. Just stay safe. Stay happy. I want you to be able to enjoy this Labor Day and enjoy next Labor Day. On the text line, I was talking earlier on about exotic animals as well. On the text line, it says, Odi, I work in pest control, and a guy I knew would catch rattlesnakes and copperheads to milk them. If you haven't heard about that, it's where they take the venom out of them. He would then go on to sell the venom to make anti venom. And needless to say, he made good money doing it. I can imagine. I can definitely imagine. See, here's the problem I have is that I grew up in Ireland, and as you all know, St. Patrick got rid of all the snakes in Ireland, so we don't have any snakes, apart from a few of the politicians, but I'm not going into that. So I can literally walk up on a snake and not see it. You know that old timey thing that if it was a snake, it would have bit me? Yeah, yeah. And my wife looks at me because, as you know, my wife is here from Georgia, and she has seen snakes, and she has seen me walking towards snakes. And oh, don't worry, she will stop me in time. She said, "Odie, look down." I'm like, oh, what am I? Oh, look, yeah, there's copperhead. So, just watch out for them anyway. Yeah, that's all I will say. Stay away from them. Stay away. Just stay away from them. Even the king snakes. I mean, they're not as bad, but yeah, they still hurt you. When I come back, look at the weather's nice. Weather's good. When I come back, I'm going to be talking a little bit of motorcycle safety. Yes, we're all guilty of doing some bad stuff. Anyway, you're listening to Straight Talk here with Bill Frady on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Odi Fitzgerald filling the hot seat until tomorrow. Bill's going to be back tomorrow. Don't worry. Back 12 o'clock, midday. Um, I was going to talk about motorcycles and people not wearing helmets, but we can talk about that again. What I do want to talk about, something that, eh, it's up there at the minute. There's a South Carolina death row inmate who is scheduled to be executed later this month, and he is urging the state Supreme Court to delay his execution to allow his lawyers to argue that his co-defendant who testified against him lied about having no plea deal, and they're going on to testimony. Yeah, look, okay, I understand that. I, I I can understand that he wants to get his sentence put off a little bit longer. I get it. I understand that. But Freddie Owens, who's now 46, is set to be executed on September the 20th. Okay. So that's in 18 days' time. For the killing, he killed in 1997, he killed store clerk Irene Graves during a robbery. It was a string of robberies. And also, Owens also killed his cellmate in Greenville County Jail after his conviction in 1999. What's your thoughts on that? Tell me what you think. Get me on the Common Sense Retirement text plan, or Common Sense Retirement Plan text line 71307, or you can call in on the WORD phone line, which is 800 905 0989. I want to hear your thoughts on that. Should there be a stay of execution? Now he's been playing with Governor McMaster's, and they're saying that right up until 0 hour, right up until a couple of minutes before the execution is to be carried out, that there can be a stay of execution. And that's all down to Governor McMaster's. He can decide. He can decide. He can say, no, stop it. Don't want it to happen. But what's your opinions on that? I can only imagine that Owens's victims, that his relatives, the victims' relatives, are saying, "No, go ahead with it. Why should there be a stay of execution?" Is it a thing where an eye for an eye? I mean, someone once said, "If it's an eye for an eye, then eventually everybody is blind." You know, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what to make of it. If it was somebody, if it was somebody in my family, if it was someone close to me, and if it was someone close to me that was murdered, then yes. If there was irrefutable evidence, if you couldn't pin it on anybody else, and if there was no shadow of a doubt, then I'm going to go with that. You kill somebody, then you don't deserve to live. That's just my thoughts. But what are your thoughts? On the text line, 71307, execute the murderer. Fair enough. Another texter says, Odie, no stay of execution. Another texter says to me, Odie, why is he still alive? That's the other thing as well, is if somebody is sentenced to death, if somebody, you go through the full judicial process, you're judged by a jury of your peers, they find you guilty, there's irrefutable evidence that you committed the crime, and you were sentenced to death. Why? I'm just curious. Let me know. Why is there such a long period between being sentenced to death and it being carried out? Now, I know it gives time that if there's new evidence has to be brought forward, it can be brought forward. But in other cultures, in other countries, if you're sentenced to death, it happens later that week. There's no, there's no waiting time. There's no there is due process, but there's no waiting time. Some people have said to me that if you were sentenced to death, then why should the taxpayer have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to keep you alive in a state correctional facility. How much money? How much money do you think it costs? How much money do you think it costs to keep somebody on death row for a year? I want you to guess on that one. I have the number here, and the number here is the price for it here is it's here in South Carolina. Your guesses? $300,000 a year. That's a number I picked out here. So I got it here. Odi, would you choose the method if you were would you choose the method if you were sentenced to death? Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know what method I would do. I suppose I'd want it to be quick if I was ever sentenced to this. And I know it's old school, but the guillotine. I mean, does that need to come back? Worked for the French for a long time. Odie, my question is, would what would be the thing if they dropped the murder charges against him for killing his cellmate? And did he ask the clerk for a stay of execution? I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't matter if you kill somebody out in the public or if you kill somebody in a jail cell. You've still killed somebody. You've still taken the life. Odi, eye for an eye calls for equal justice. For example, if someone cuts off another person's hand, then equal justice doesn't call for taking somebody else's hand. Well, maybe. I think if somebody is convicted of a crime, if you do the crime, it's like when you're a kid. If you do something, maybe not so much now, but if you've done something, I remember when I was a kid, if I done something that I shouldn't be doing, my little butt would get reddened, 100%. There was no thing of, oh well, I'll let you away with it this time. If I done something that warranted it, I was going to get it. I was going to get. If I did the crime, I did the time. And I think as well now, when you get older, if you do your crime, you have to suffer your consequences. There has to be consequences for your actions. And a stay of execution, I'm just kind of like, yeah. Hi, Odi. In my opinion, the victims of the murderers didn't get a chance. Yes, the victims of the murders did not get a chance for a stay of execution. They had no choice, and it all happened in the blink of an eye. Yes, it did, 100%. It's all there. There's no stay of execution. What's the guy's name? Owens, Freddie Owens. When he took the life of Irene Graves, he didn't stand back. He didn't, you know, he didn't just say, "Oh well, maybe I won't pull the trigger," or what. However, he could, or his cellmate. Maybe he's like, "Oh well, I'm going to give them a hiding this time, but next time, no, he didn't. He didn't even think about it. So you're right. You're 100% right. Yes, it is. It is definitely the way it is. Tell you what, we're going to go to the phone lines, the WRD phone line. We've got Ron in Greenville. Ron, what can I help you with, bud?
Hi, Odie. I was listening to you talking about the execution, so forth.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if you're familiar with the situation, but in South Carolina, we had a problem with the lethal injection medication that they used. And
yeah, I have. I've heard about that before. That it's not 100% accurate.
Well, it's been quite a while since all that came about, and I think they've redone the medication or whatever you want to call it. So, I think they've over.
But what if you now here's the thing. So we're talking about the lethal injection. How do you think if you were a judge and if you were passing down sentence, what method do you think would be appropriate for that?
Well, I mean, let's go back a little bit. I used to be in law enforcement in Greenville.
Okay. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. But the point I'm trying to make is lethal injection would have been probably the way I would prefer going. I mean, if it had been me, I can't say for anybody else because I don't know their feelings.
Yeah.
There, you got execution, and I think you got a firing squad.
Yeah.
Then when you have those, if you think about a firing squad, there's only going to be one bullet out of one gun that's going to do the job, and that's all they are. I mean, they got let's just say they got 15 people on the line, and one of those 15's got the real bullet.
Is it two? I think it's 2 in 10. Is it? If you have 10,
Is that right?
I think it is.
Well,
I'm not 100% sure. I stand to be corrected on that, but I think it could be 2 in 10.
You're looking at. I've been out of law enforcement for over right at 50 years.
Fair enough.
So, the situation is like, I mean, which is faster? I mean, you mentioned the guillotine. I mean, that would be pretty well quick.
Yeah, it would be.
It takes a little while for that blade to drop.
Well, not that fast. Ron, thank you very much for calling in. I really appreciate your call. But yeah, there's one for you. Text in 71307, Common Sense Retirement Plan text line. How would you like to go if you were sentenced to death? Yeah, these are the questions, folks. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. And you're very welcome back to Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Now, before the ad, we were talking a little bit about where is it? Hold on, let me just go in here. About Freddie Owens. He is due to be sentenced to execution on the 20th of September. And I asked if you could pick how you were executed, how would you like to be executed? I got a text message in, not too sure what radio station you're listening to, but it says, Odie, if you're not 100% certain of the crime and you were letting psychopaths out, don't dare talk about infringement of Second Amendment. I'm kind of curious as to how I talked about infringement of Second Amendment. As everybody who listens to this show, I've talked with Bill many times. I am very, very behind the Second Amendment, and on my own show on Sunday nights, 100% behind it. And I never said to let the guy out. I was asking why it takes so long for the execution to happen. Sorry, I don't mean to giggle. I know this is a hard subject, but I did ask how you would like to be executed. Texter just texted in and they said to me, Odie, I would like to die of a heart attack during intimate time. One way to go. Somebody else said the death. If I could choose, I would like to take the electric chair. The feeling of 1,000 volts going through my body would be a great bang. No. We had Ron on earlier on, and Ron was saying that he would like the lethal injection. I don't know about that one. I want to go very French about it, and I would like to go with the guillotine. I think it'd be fast. I think it'd be quick. I've read accounts about it as to how fast it actually happens, and now they say that people still feel a little bit that they're alive for a little bit. I don't know. But the main thing that I'm asking about is, if someone is sentenced to death, should the sentence be prolonged? Should there be a stay of execution? Should he be given life imprisonment? I mean, the taxpayer won't be happy about that. And as I said earlier on, the relatives of the victims will not be happy about that. And if I was a relative of the victim, I wouldn't be happy about it. And as I said, if you do the crime, be ready to do the time. Whatever that is, if it is the death sentence, then do it. I know in lots of other states, there is a lot of, I think in Florida, is it Florida? I think it's Florida, they have the electric chair. And apparently in South Carolina, there is the possibility of a firing squad. I know that's very Hollywood, the firing squad. You know, you remember back in the wars and people were sentenced to death by firing squad. But I mean, if it gets the job done. But no, I'm not. Contrary to what our texter earlier on said, I'm not making light of anything. I'm not making light of it. I mean, it is a serious matter, and I don't think I'm in any way infringing upon the Second Amendment. But, you know. Texter says, Odie, firing squad would be my choice. 5 shooters with 1 rifle holding a blank, giving you the ability to think that you have not fired the killing shot. Plus 2 years is long enough a wait on death row. Yeah, talking about the firing squad. I thought I was talking earlier on to Ron, and I think, is it 5 or 10? I think it could be 10 shooters and maybe 2 of them are loaded. And yes, it does give you the chance for deniability, that you can say you didn't take the shot or you took the shot, but you knew it was a blank. And some people say, no, I'd know what a blank in a gun feels like. Would you? Would you not? Another texter says 4 30-06 rounds to the chest. Sounds like a quick way to die. Yep. Another texter says, hey, Odi, I don't plan on being executed unless there is persecutions. But if it ever gets to that point, yeah, well, you know, yep. I don't plan on it either. Don't ever want to do it. I want to live out the rest of my life. I will be back next Saturday. No, I won't be there on Saturday night and why, you ask, will I not be in the Upstate Pulse on Saturday night? Because I will be directing the play Murder on the Orient Express, and that happens on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of all this weekend and next weekend. If you're looking to get tickets, there is some available. I think it is selling out really fast. So go on to the Clemson Little Theatre website. You can get your tickets there. I will be back for my own show next Sunday night. Sunday nights with Odi Fitzgerald. That's me. Thank you very much for taking part in the show today. Thank you to Will for stepping in and pressing the buttons for me, as only Will can. And his eclectic taste of music has kept me going. Heidi Harris is coming up next. She's going to be filling in for Charlie James. So make sure, if you're talking to Heidi, tell her Odie sent you. Yeah. And Bill will be back tomorrow. So until I talk to you again, have an absolutely fantastic Labor Day. Talk to you soon, guys. Take care. Slán ó bhaile. Bye.